Hello, my name is Dr. Justin Linker,
Dr. Jim Sronkoski.
and we are the lead physicians for the Bright Life Clinics in Lombard and Schaumburg. And so today, all through the month of April, we've been giving quick talks about orthotics. We went over posture, we went over possible weight gain during COVID, all the different things that we might be able to talk about to help you guys cope with what's going on at home. And so today we wanted to expound on the topics a little bit more, but hit some things we didn't get a chance in our short little videos. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about was posture and workstation type stuff. When we talk about orthotics, orthotics are going to give you a good stable base, and they're going to help your feet, knees, hips, low back feel better. When you are working from home, your orthotic is your workstation. It's your chair, it's your desk, it's the placement of your monitors, all those different things. And so all these things are important. So one of the things that I personally stress in my clinic when it comes to workstation is going to be the chair. The chair in of itself, it is definitely worth getting a good quality chair. I think people that tried working like from beanbag chairs and on their bed realize that you need a lot of bed in the very beginning, a lot of bed and couch. And I mean, man, my clinic was packed with people that were doing that and having a lot of trouble. So getting a good chair from home, if you're going to continue to work from home, I think it's essential. There are lots of different chairs out there. So the little tips I'll give you for looking for a good chair. One, probably is going to cost you more than $75. I only say that because good chairs are going to use good materials that will stand up over time and won't feel really great for the first month and then break down fast. So you might spend a little bit on a chair, look at reviews, but more than anything, what I want to find is a chair that has a good rigid back, has armrests, is able to spin and even possibly tilt. But the big thing is going to be the angle of the seat itself. So if you think about it, if the seat is level, you will sit level in the chair and then you can be upright. Some of these chairs will have actually a seat that tips, because if we can get the back end of the chair up, this causes the pelvis to tilt forward and keeps a good curve in that low back. It helps you sit upright easy. Years ago, they did those orthopedic chairs or the ergonomic chairs that was just a stool and you knelt in. The whole purpose was the seat for the butt was angled. And this kept the pelvis tilted forward and kept you sitting up. So I'm a big one for the chair. I really like to see a good chair. I think that's a good solid foundation of a good place to start. In your clinic, Dr. Jim, what do you recommend for workstations?
The chairs is important, but then also the positioning too. Positioning of your workstation. Right. You know, the height of the workstation is really important. So the chair helps with that, but then making sure that you're working eye level. And then I always like to, if you have the ability to not be so static in your work position. So the adjustable desks, I mean, that's another way.
Sit to stand desk.
Sit to stand. Okay. Yeah, that's a good way to make sure that you're not being so static, and you have the option to change that positioning. Okay. So I think those are two really good ways to make sure that your posture is staying on point, you know, during while you're working from home.
So chair, excellent. Making sure your workspace, your monitors, eye height, sit to stand desk, always good. I think last thing that maybe goes without saying, I tell my patients not to sit for more than 30 to 60 minutes without getting up and moving around. If you get up for more than 15, 20 seconds, you reactivate the muscles of the low back, the pelvis, upper back. I tell people once an hour, get up, use the bathroom, get a drink of water, what have you, just to get up and move. Some occupations, like my accountants, are the worst for it, especially this time of the year. They will sit down and 7 hours later, they'll get up for the first time.
Yeah, like I didn't get up at all during
This will destroy that spine and back. So getting up every hour at least is something that's going to help. So hope those tips are good for working at home, workstation wise. Second thing we need to talk about is we went over posture wise about neck, like text neck and having forward head posture. What I want to talk about briefly is why that lumbar curvature is so important. We just talked about it with the chair, why that is so important. So Dr. Jim, do you see a lot of people that sit for a living, drive for a living? What sort of things do they get? Do they get radiating pain? Do they get sciatica? What are you seeing?
Yes, all the above. So low back issues, radiating, traveling pain down the legs. I mean, that's something that we see all the time.
Okay, numbness, tingling. Yes. So when that curvature isn't present in the low back, all those nerves are getting compressed. So no curvature means radiating pain. Good curvature typically means a healthy spine. So preserving that, just like with the neck, like we talked about in our shorter videos, maintaining that curvature is very important. How do you do it? Some folks will actually get an insert or a support for behind the low back, which I actually have one in my car because I can't put an ergonomic chair in my car. If you can't get a chair that really does help support it, getting a support, even something as simple as taking a towel, rolling it up, taping it, getting that back behind will help keep that curve in the low back, and then that'll help stave off a lot of that spasm and radiating pain that you notice, or at least that's what I find. Do you have any other tips that you do with your patients?
Yeah, no, those are the big ones. Making sure that to support that curve, and that curve is, I tell patients, it's like a spring. It's meant to be a spring to support the rest of the back, and your back is taking that force. So the more that you sit, sitting puts the most amount of force on your back.
Makes sense.
So anything to do to support that curve, to support that spring is going to be beneficial. So that lumbar support's great, but then also, like we talked about previously, just getting up and allowing that pressure to come off of the back.
True.
So taking a break, going back to the first point is beneficial too. So.
Okay, and I would also say, just as a side note too, people will say all the time, well, when I work from home, I actually don't have any low back pain. My pain is the neck. You got to remember, guys, that think of your spine as a house. The low back is the ground floor or the basement. And if that's unstable, all the floors above it will not be stable. So if you have neck pain and you have really bad posture or bad low back posture while working, sooner or later, it's gonna aggravate or make that neck pain worse or create even mid-back or low back. So you need to take care of all three parts of the spine. Last thing we wanted to go over, nobody wants to talk about this. So during COVID, most people stopped going to the gym. People were scared, people were upset, so a lot of comfort food. People weren't getting up from their desks and working. And so what did we see? A ton of tons. We saw a lot of weight gain. So one of the big things that we have both been getting asked into the spring here as things are starting to open up and things are changing is not only how to lose weight, but my job is not going to change. My job is staying at home. I'm going to be at home now, or I'm going to be here 3 days a week. What are some things I can do to avoid weight gain? Because now that I'm at home, the fridge is only 8 feet away, and the chips are only 11 feet away. And so what am I going to do? So I've been getting a ton of questions like that. One of the things that I always recommend as a first starting point is if you are looking to cut weight or to get into a healthier way of eating, is start with eliminating sugar. I did that about 7 years ago, and it's not 100%. It's very tough to be 100% elimination of sugar, but of all the things that you can ingest, white refined sugar causes the most amount of inflammation in the body. It is the #1 source of weight gain in people, from sodas to candy to whatever. We have sugar in everything we eat anymore, down to ketchup. I actually my kids decided they wanted to eat paleo, which is a no sugar way of eating. And so they went away for the weekend, and I told them I'd clean out the house of all the sugar, all the foods of sugar. 4 garbage bags of food, full. And this is all good, normal food that they would eat every day because it had sugar in it. I think we had like plastic forks and hamburger was what was left in the house when I was done. So it just goes to show you that sugar's in everything. But if we stop eating sugar or you start cutting it down, here's what's gonna happen. The body will be less inflamed, so you're gonna have less pain. So everything we've talked about is gonna get better. 2, if you're ingesting less sugar, it's forcing the body to burn up what it already has and then eventually go to what? Its fat stores. That's called ketosis. So avoiding sugar is one of the #1 ways I tell people to start cutting weight or improve their health. And there's a ton of other little things. I know Dr. Jim has one that he usually will do. What is it you recommend?
So I'm a big one for not taking away, but replacing or adding something new.
Excellent.
One of the big things that I do every morning is a green smoothie.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so you can be creative with it. They actually make powders now, green powders that's got all the green foods that you need in it. And it's simple, but that's a great way to start off your day to make sure that you're getting proper nutrients. You're gonna feel a big difference in your gut, getting you the proper minerals, the proper vitamins into the gut. So a lot of people notice that you have better digestion, you feel less bloated, and that's just a great way to reset. So at home, it's something easy to start with. to start to set the stage. Because once you
Okay.
do one good thing, it's easier to add in another good thing, and start adding in different ways to help address the weight gain.
Makes sense. What did you notice when you started doing green smoothies? Like, did you notice a change in appetite, a change in what your cravings were? Like, what were the things you noticed when you started doing green smoothies?
Green smoothies helped with the bloat.
The bloat, okay.
Yeah, the bloat, and that's one of the things I noticed first, and then energy too.
Okay.
I didn't feel like I needed as much coffee. I didn't cut out coffee all the way.
Okay.
But energy-wise, just because you're eating you're getting the proper nutrients that the body needs, so you don't need as much of that other stuff. If that makes sense.
No, it does. So far we've got either cut sugar, or if cutting doesn't work, add in some good stuff in the morning, like a green smoothie. I actually don't like juice or make the smoothie. I have a powder. That's exactly what I do. I do a collagen for my joints, and then a greens for the exact same reason. And I will pair it everything that Dr. Jim said. I noticed a decrease in the bloat. I noticed an increase in energy, alertness. I just felt more awake. So I notice all those things too, and I do that every morning also. The third thing I would recommend when it comes to diet and nutrition, over doing this for 20 years, one of the best ways I can help people if they say, I've gained 20 pounds during COVID and I have no clue why. We hear a lot of that. I'll have them food journal for a week, or even 2 to 3 days. I can almost guarantee you, if you've never done food journaling before, you will be amazed at what you are putting in your mouth when it comes to what you are drinking, what you are eating, the volume of it. If you actually really want to see, and you record, hamburger, and then the calories, and you total it up at the end of the day, once again, you will be amazed. And so if you actually are seeing these things, it's a little bit easier to get an idea of how much you're eating, and then be able to then reverse engineer. Well, if I'm eating 2,500 calories and I only burn 2,000 calories sitting in the day, I'm gonna gain a pound a week. And over 52 weeks, that's a lot of weight. So I need to go the opposite. If I'm gonna be just sitting all day, instead of 2,500 calories, I need to be eating 1,700, so that I can create a deficit and I can start moving the scale in the opposite direction. So in the end, the whole idea behind weight gain, whether you gain 5 or 10 pounds, I'm not too hung up on that. What I am hung up on is, I know that as we get to 20 and 30 and 40 pounds, the incidence of obesity related diabetes, heart disease, cholesterol, all these things go up. And we get a lot of folks that come into our clinics that are down that road and are having trouble. And if we could get back to them when this started, it'd be wonderful. So to start marching that in the other direction, all these are great ideas.
Yeah.
And so any questions, feel free to call the clinics, email us directly. You can visit our website at brightlifeclinics.com or brightlifeclinic.com. There you can find more information on almost everything we're talking about. Each month we are going to have something like this up on the website for use to actually see. And then we'll also be doing events and parties and things like that in the office based around these things. So if you'd like more information, hit one of us up in our clinics.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then until then, I am Dr. Justin Linker.
Dr. Jim Sronkoski.
And we'll see you next time.